they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
Right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen AmadayAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen AmadayAShakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so we're about to get into it. Let me see who all is in here. All right, Terry Hinton is in the virtual building. Danny Joe, We the People, That Crazy Beach Aries, Just Anticipate, Terry Hinton, Chris B, Reggie. All right, let's get into it, Claudette. Okay, so everybody hit that like button. Don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the Queen's channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. All right, Naima Ra is here. All right, Mecca. Trisha is here. All right, so let's get into it, Soul Sister. All right, y'all know I love me some Royals. Brizzy Creations is here. Now, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
So don't forget, you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. And also, you can find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she also sells beard oil. Okay, so let's get into it because the amount of lies being told consistently, all right, consistently by Trump's own nefarious administration, okay, it just needs to stop. It needs to stop. I mean, it just clearly reeks of desperation. Don't y'all think? Don't y'all think that it just reeks of desperation clearly? All right. So anyway, with that all been said, let's talk about Fonnie Willis first of all, because here's the thing. Trump is still out here grifting. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Y'all's president is out here clearly grifting. So now he's suing Fonnie Willis. Okay, remember when she tried to bring charges against him? In fact, she did bring charges against him, and then they took her off the case and put in this pro-Trump nefarious prosecutor who dismissed the whole thing. Now, it wasn't like Trump was found innocent. It wasn't like it was some sort of targeted attack on him, a politically motivated prosecution or anything like that. You know, the kind of stuff that he engages in himself. But nonetheless, he wants to sue Fonnie Willis. Now, though I'm no fan of Fonnie Willis, mind you, I do find it interesting that Trump thinks he can get a whole grift out of this. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Fonnie Willis suffers legal blow in fight against Trump. So not only is he suing, but they're also basically saying Fonnie can't protect herself, okay, against this BS. I almost cursed. I'm going to try not to curse today. Okay, please pay attention. I mean, I don't curse often, but y'all know with the stuff that's going on, honey, I mean, sometimes you can't help. Okay? Now, so a judge denied Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis's attempt to intervene in litigation over legal fee reimbursement claims sought by former defendants in the now dismissed Georgia election case against President Donald J. Trump. Now, in August of 2023, Trump and 18 others were indicted for allegedly conspiring to overturn then President Joe Biden's narrow election victory in the battleground state of Georgia. But the case was dismissed in November, leading to Trump and his co-defendants demanding millions of dollars in attorney's fees and costs from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Now, Willis's office tried to block the claims, but Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee rejected that request this week, according to CBS Atlanta, allowing efforts to recover nearly $17 million in proceeds. Okay? Now, with that all being said, Newsweek has contacted the Fulton County District Attorney's Office via email and voicemail for comments on behalf of Willis. So the ruling advances significant reimbursement claims under a 2020 Georgia law. And I want you all to pay attention because this is a new Georgia law that they made just for Trump to sue Fonnie Willis. Okay. Like they made just for Trump to sue Fonnie Willis. Now, the ruling advances significant reimbursement under claims under a 2025 Georgia law that defendants say allows recovery of attorney fees after a prosecutor is disqualified and the case is later dismissed. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear it? Now, the decision follows Willis's removal in December of 2024 after Trump and his co-defendants argued that her romantic relationship with the special prosecutor originally assigned to the case, Nathan Wade, created a conflict of interest and that Fonnie made improper public statements about the case. Now, if large fee awards are granted, taxpayers could face substantial costs and Georgia prosecutors could see a precedent affecting future conflicts and disqualification disputes, meaning that in the future, defendants could also sue prosecutors if they feel like there was some sort of malicious prosecution, or they were done wrong in any way. Now, with that all being said, McAfee said Willis's office had no legal basis to intervene in the case after it was disqualified and argued that the state was already represented by a temporary district attorney who was appointed after Willis's removal, meaning that the office's interests were already represented. However, McAfee granted Fulton County permission to intervene, noting that the county funds most of the district's attorney's office and could ultimately bear the cost of any repayments or any payments. Now, with that all being said, don't y'all find this interesting? I mean, Trump is just suing everybody. This is a whole grift. Okay, he's going to always find a way to get him some coins, honey. Please pay attention. Now, Trump alone is seeking more than $6.2 million in fees, okay, from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, citing the 2025 Georgia statute. Now, the Georgia Supreme Court in September of 2025 declined to review Willis's removal, leaving the prosecuting attorney's counsel to identify a new prosecutor before the case was ultimately dropped. So Steve Sedal, Trump's lead Georgia attorney, praised the decision in a post on X, saying that Judge McAfee has properly denied DA Willis's motion to intervene in the President of the United States' action for reimbursement of attorney's fees because her disqualification for improper conduct bars Willis and her office from any further participation in this dismissed lawfare case. Okay, do y'all hear it? I find it all interesting. Now, President Donald Trump told reporters last September, after the Georgia Supreme Court declined to hear Willis's appeal, what Fani Willis did to innocent people, this is Trump talking, what Fani Willis did to innocent people, patriots that love our country, what she did to them by indicting them and destroying them, she should be put in jail. Isn't that something? Isn't that, I mean, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black, or should I say, in Trump's case, the pot's calling the kettle orange. Okay? Do y'all hear this? That's right. Sosa says nothing innocent about Trump. Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, DJ Big Six. Okay, I mean, make it all make sense, but let me continue. This is y'all's president, honey. He wants to send somebody else to jail when we all know he should be in prison. So anyway, he goes on to say, I hope that whatever or whoever is assigned to handle the case will have the courage to do what the evidence and the law demand. Now, a Georgia judge will evaluate whether claims, including Trump's request exceeding $6.2 million, are reasonable under the statute, a process that could take weeks or even months and could prompt appeals. Courts will decide whether to, and listen, here's what I would do if I were Fulton County and I were being sued for all this money by Trump and his minions. I would just drag it out as long as I can because I don't think Trump's going to be here too long. Okay, I don't think Trump's going to be here too long. I keep telling you all. Okay, so, and did y'all see that black rash on his neck? Okay, his health is clearly declining, honey. His health is going down the drain, just like this war that he started. Okay, and then due to the stress of the war, I think that the fact that he's losing and trying so desperately each day to keep up the roots, okay, of fighting superiority, no less. I think that's all going to take a toll on him negatively as well. Okay, so we should see a rapid decline in his health, both mentally and physically, in the next few weeks. Oh, please pay attention and don't say that you didn't hear it first. Okay, you heard it here first. Now, with that all being said, they're going to say that courts will decide whether and to what extent district attorney's offices or the district attorney's office or county taxpayers must pay, and their decision could shape how future conflicts and disqualifications are handled in Georgia prosecutions. All right, y'all, it looks like I'm going to have to give Trump some money. Okay, because he's likely going to win this lawsuit. Sosa said Trump has annihilated all his allies and now does not know what to do. Reggie said the office of president ages you rapidly. Of course it does. Do y'all remember how old Obama looked when he got out of there? Y'all remember that? How old he was looking? He looked like he had aged pretty good, okay, when he got out of there. I know they stressed him the hell out. Okay, I know they did. And then all the racism that the poor man had to endure, the hateful, no good minions, okay, mad because a black man was in office. I find it all interesting. But you know what I find even more interesting? Let's get into it. Let's get into it because I find it also interesting that President Macron of France had the audacity, dare I say, and also India. They both had the audacity after they have sided with Trump and Bibi's folks to ask Iran to let them have passage through the Strait of Hormuz so that they could get oil. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so here it is right here. Now, this is a post that says Iraq Prime Minister. Now, this is something I thought was interesting as well, because basically Iraq is like, we're not getting involved. We have nothing to do with it. And mind you, Lindsey Graham, who's clearly licking between Netanyahu's toes, well, at least he was before he got taken up out of here and sent to the spiritual realm because he's pretty much gone. I'm pretty sure at this point, the AI videos are not fooling anyone. Pretty much he's done for. I mean, we saw pictures of him lying in the rubble, pretty much. They said they took him to Germany and he was in a coma and then he died on March the 11th. And they said they wouldn't talk about it until the 15th, which was yesterday. And that's clearly when we got some of the confirmation. Okay, so it's fair to say that he's gone. Let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old bitch at last is dead. Okay? Now, that all being said, let me continue. But here's what I found interesting. Iraqi Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, has reacted following the attack targeting the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. According to him, if Iran attacks the American embassy, here's the good part. This is where it gets good. If Iran attacks the American embassy, even if it's located on Iraqi territory, Iraq has no right to retaliate. Okay, Lindsey Graham? Because Lindsey Graham seems to think that all of the Gulf states should join in the war on the side of the U.S. How dumb would that be? Okay, here's the thing. They've already been trying to appease Trump just so nothing like this would happen. Because they already knew that the blue and white states, Bibi's folk, they already knew that these people had it in for them and were gunning for them or were likely going to come for them. They were trying to keep the U.S. at bay. This is why Qatar gave him that jet more likely than not. This is why the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia came to visit him at the White House. Okay, and he's been doing deals allegedly with them as well. These people were trying to keep this from happening. And now they see that they were stabbed in the back by none other than lying, no good Donald Trump. Now they see that they got played. So are they really going to try to help him? Of course not. Okay, of course not. Anyway, it goes on to say that Iraq has no right to retaliate because under international law, an attack on an embassy is considered a direct attack on the country that it represents. In other words, a strike against the American embassy would target the United States and not the Iraqi people. So they're not trying to help. Okay, it's not looking good. It just isn't looking good for Trump and sadly for our U.S. military. I just wish they'd just bring them people on home. Okay, also, IDF spokeswoman Anna Ukulova threatens on Russian RBC radio Russian authorities to be killed, is what she says. They will be killed if they take an anti-Israel position in the war. See, I want you all to pay attention. Now they're threatening Russia. Now they're threatening Russia. That's saying that they will be killed if they take an anti-Israel position in the war. She said that Israel controls all web cameras in Russia, and it could hit easily whoever it wants, including, but not limited to, Putin. Y'all hear that? Now, I can't wait to find out what Putin has to say about this when he gets wind of it, if he hasn't already. Okay? I cannot wait. So with that all being said, thousands of Indians, okay, and I'm not talking about Native Americans, I'm talking about the Indians from India, but thousands of Indians are protesting against Prime Minister Narendra Modi over normalization with Israel and creating tensions with Iran, burning his photos and telling him, make Israel give us oil. That's what the people are saying. They're ticked off, okay? They want to be on the right side of history. Let's go to the footage. This is just a brief clip of them burning his photos and going in on him. And then, like I said, they had the nerve to ask Iran if they could go through the Strait of Hormuz. Please sit down somewhere, India. Okay, you've made your choice. I find it all interesting. Now, you all want to hear something really funny? You all want to hear something really funny? Remember the video that I showed you all last night? You all remember? You all remember last night when I told you that Hegseth was talking all big and bad, talking all tough, and like Iran was just done for and all of that, and that their leaders were hiding in bunkers underground, cowering like rats do. Remember when he said all that? And then I came back and quickly disputed those claims and showed you the proof that in fact these people were outside at a rally, okay, a pro-Palestinian rally at that. Well, you know what Donald Trump said about that today or yesterday? Donald Trump said that was AI. He said the video footage of the people at the rally, the Iranians outside, living life and going along about their day, even as missiles flew overhead, okay, and a person was even killed, they were still unbothered. Trump says that that is absolutely AI. That's what he said. I mean, he must really think that we're stupid. Like at this point, it just is so infuriating for this man who's dumb as a box of rocks. In fact, he's dumber than a box of rocks. But the fact that he thinks we're equally as stupid as him. Okay? I mean, it just really is so crazy for me. But anyway, let me continue. Now, with that all being said, let me read you a quote by Hannah Arendt. Hannah said, totalitarianism is power invariably replaces all first-rate talents, regardless of their sympathies with those crockpots and fools whose lack of intelligence and creativity is still the best guarantee of their loyalty. Now, I want you to resonate on that for just a second, because that's exactly what Trump has done. Trump doesn't care about who's qualified for positions, who's best suited for the role, who has the most experience or education. That's why he got rid of all those high-ranking generals as soon as he took over. Now, I'm sure he wishes he kept them because of the predicament that he's now placed himself in. But Trump has hired nothing but loyalists, people who will be loyal to him no matter what, who will kiss his boots. Okay, but these people sadly are not qualified for any of the positions that they currently hold. None of them are, from Kash Patel to Pam Blondie to Lindsay Halligan or Hooligan is what we should call her, to Pete Kegsbreath. Okay, none of these people are qualified at all in the slightest, in the least. Not in the least. But you know what? And this is why Iran is beating them, because Iran is very highly intelligent. I don't know if you all realize, but they have like a 99% literacy rate. These people are very smart. They're at the top when it comes to mathematics, algebra, and things like that, calculus. These people are engineers. They're very highly intellectual. I don't know why Trump even thought. Okay, I don't even know why he thought that he could compete with them. And here's the thing. He keeps talking about he's going to be the only president. He's the first president, the only president who was bold enough to go against them. Well, the reason no other president went against them is because they had sense. They had sense. Okay, they know that it would be a fool's mission, a self-deletion mission, to even try to think about going and attacking Iran with boots on the ground. Okay, they knew that would be the most problematic thing they could think of. And then they also knew that Iran has been sitting back quietly watching and waiting and anticipating for this day to come. And they didn't want to have that day because they knew it would be a bad day. okay, for all parties involved. They knew that it just would not be good. And they also knew that because they had a higher or a stronger military, because they had more expensive and likely powerful weapons. And of course, they have more powerful weapons. The United States has nuclear weapons, and so does Bibi's people. But they don't want Iran to have it. But here's the thing, these other presidents all knew this. They knew that because they were more mighty in military strength and had these expensive and more advanced weapons, likely, well, they knew that Iran would likely use asymmetric warfare on them and start destroying the infrastructure, start going against the financial systems and all of that, causing a global economic collapse. They knew that they would probably take over the Strait of Hormuz. See, these other presidents were much smarter than Trump. Trump is an idiot. Okay? If ever there was a fool, he's it. Nice M10K says, you know what I find interesting? The Honorable Jimmy Carter, the one Trump made fun of over and over. Well, it's turning into Carter 2.0, but much worse. Yes, exactly. Okay, and Jimmy Carter was a good man, unlike Trump. Okay, unlike Trump, he was actually a good person. I worked for him, okay, before. Now, with that all being said, thank you for your contribution to the channel. Thank you for your insight into the topic. I appreciate you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Let me give you another quote by a Nazi propaganda minister by the name of Joseph Goebbels. Now, if you all remember, I did a TikTok about him years ago, talking about how he changed the tuning on all instruments to make it 440 hertz, which causes chaos. You know, it invokes people to violence, okay, rather than the calm, meditative music and sounds and tones and frequencies, okay, that people were used to. But this is the same person who said this. And I want you to pay attention because this goes back to what Kanye said about who controls the media. He said, let me control the media and I will turn any nation into a herd of pigs. Meaning that as long as they control the narrative, they can say whatever they want about whoever they want, and that is what will stick. Because if they're the only ones allowed to talk without being censored, if they're the ones that are allowed to spew propaganda and no one else is, no one's allowed to counter their talking points, then they will absolutely make people look like villains when they're the actual victims. And they will glorify and praise themselves. Okay, and that's what has been going on for quite some time. Now, I also want you to know this. Pete Cagsbreath, okay, he's a real piece of ish as far as I'm concerned. But if you remember, in 2021, Pete Cagsbreath was banned from the 2021 Biden presidential inauguration. And why was he banned? Because his white supremacy tattoos flagged him as an insider extremist threat. Don't y'all find it interesting that now he's the Secretary of War? Okay, he's now the Secretary of War. Y'all see that tattoo? Okay, y'all see that tattoo? Yeah, definitely a wanton supremacist. Okay, Nice M10K says referring to gas, energy crisis, and Iran conflict. Yes, absolutely. I know, beloved. Absolutely. And thank you for your contribution to the channel and your insight to the topic. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let's continue because let me go to this clip of Trump just completely embarrassing himself and America alike. Okay, aboard Air Force One. Just completely idiotic. Here we go.
Oh, one other thing that was AI generated, they showed about 250,000. The media knew it didn't take place, but they built it up like they have great support. They don't have support. And that whole rally that they had 4 days ago, that they said was fake. It was AI generated. AI can be very dangerous. We have to be very careful with it. But the rally, because I was actually surprised to see, because I know how much the people hate this leadership. This leadership has destroyed the country. The rally that everybody, including ABC fake news, your network is the worst. But everybody put that rally on. Like, oh, and even I was surprised. I looked, It turned out, I found out today, it was a totally AI generated fake news story put out by news organizations in the US and elsewhere. And honestly, they really shouldn't be allowed to do it.
Did y'all hear that? He said it was AI and he found out it was fake. And then also, please pay attention because what Trump does to try to solidify and verify his lies and foolish claims, he says things like, when he's speaking to these reporters, he'll say things like, and you know that, you know this. He loves to tell them what they know because, in fact, they don't know because he's lying. Because he's always lying. That's right. Durana said he's the fake news, okay? Saying that it was AI and AI is dangerous. Trump, you're dangerous. Okay. You're the threat. Okay. Trump and Satan Yahoo are the most wicked, nefarious devils alive. Well, Satan Yahoo's no longer alive. Word on the curb. Malice, he said, Queen, I sent you an email a few days ago of Kanye having an interview with Tucker Carlson back in 2022. He said Jared Kushner and his brother were like Trump's handlers. I guess it makes sense now. Yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. Okay, absolutely, beloved. Thank you for that tidbit of information because I haven't seen that interview, but I will look it up. Okay, so thank you for that insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. I mean, the lies just don't end. Now, here's the thing I thought was interesting too. An Israeli army officer makes a shocking confession. He says, we have over 1,300 casualties. One of us dies every 5 minutes. Did y'all hear it? Oh, I'm sorry.
One other thing that was AI.
Okay, not every 5 minutes. Not every 5 minutes, beloved. I wonder how fast the Palestinians were dying.
עם ישראל הוא בעת צרה שלא היה כדוגמתה מאז השואה. מעולם מאז השואה האמנו שלעולם זוועות לא יחזרו על היהודים. נרצחו נשים וילדים ומתחילה מלחמת מצווה.
I think we've heard enough. What's that old saying again? About the rabbit getting the gun? Yikes. Okay. Yeah, now let's go to this. Because I absolutely love this for Macron. Okay, I absolutely love this for him. Let's talk about it. So supposedly, they say Macron called Mr. Mujtaba Khamenei. Stop the war and you can have whatever you want. He told Mr. Khamenei, you're punishing the world, not Trump, and the world will face an unprecedented famine and economic collapse. See, I told you all this could absolutely lead to famine, beloveds, okay? Make sure you're following your lifelines. This is no game. Now, Mr. Khamenei interrupted him and asked, where were you when the Iranian people starved for 45 years? Macron says, this is American policy, and we reject it, as we have stated previously. Now I propose a meeting with the European Union countries, and you can have whatever you wish. To which Khamenei replied, we don't want anything except to punish Trump and Satan Yahoo. Okay, that's what he wants. Macron then said, and request exemptions for French ships to pass through. To which Khamenei replied, expel the American and Israeli ambassadors, and then you can pass through. We don't deal with those who rely on two sides. That's all I have to say. Then he hung up. Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I'll tell you, honey, Iran is gangsters, if you ask me. All right, so I guess they won't be getting through. I guess they won't be getting through. Please pay attention. Okay, and this is a post someone made saying, I'm attacking Iran because they have nuclear weapons. And then why don't you attack Russia? Are you crazy? They have nuclear weapons. Ha! Okay. This is all nefarious. With that all being said, here's the thing. Hold on. What is this? See his official statement. People nowadays will literally, hold on. Not sure what that is. Hold on, beloveds. None of us knew that Persia was the savior we needed. We for sure thought Russia, but never Iran. May they squeeze them hard and make them pay for every injustice they brought upon humankind. It is in my prayer, I hope, that we may not suffer financially more than we already have. Okay? Because this is all getting out of hand. May this war be the equalizer we all needed. So with that all being said, there was a video I wanted to show you all. I'm not sure what I thought I posted it, but there was a video of one of the Israeli leaders basically crying. Okay, basically crying and just talking about, what's going on. And I'm like, don't cry now after all the nefariousness. Okay, please make it all make sense. Now let's go to this video right here. This is George Calloway talking about natural-born killers. Okay, I'm going to share this on the screen. Lights up, everyone, please.
Assets of the Trump family in the Arabian Gulf. And if so, well, I would sell my shares in those if shares exist. Maybe Donald owns it all. How would I know? But if there are shareholders out there, they should know that Iran is on the hunt for Trump property in the Gulf. More importantly, Israel is being remorselessly bombarded 24/7 for 2 whole weeks. And high-value casualties on the Israeli side are either confirmed or are speculated about. The head of the Air Force, the head of Mossad, the Mossad headquarters, the Tel Aviv police headquarters were all bombed and destroyed just this very day. Where is Ben Gvir? You know, the man who goes around with a badge, with a noose badge on the end of it, because he is intent on hanging Palestinian prisoners, just like the British hanged the Zionist terrorists when they were blowing up our buildings and murdering our soldiers in 1947 and 48, although to a remarkable extent that has now been entirely forgotten in the British public mind. Ben Gvir, the man who taunts prisoners, the man who assaults prisoners, the man who proselytizes for the right of Israeli soldiers to rape Palestinian inmates, in one case literally raped to death, in another case sodomized by a knife on camera, with all the charges now dropped. Yes, that Ben Gvir. Where is he? Well, according to the BBC, he was involved in a car accident. And again, if you believe that, I've got a bridge in London I could sell you going cheap. Ben Gvir may be dead. Smotrich, the other fascist member of Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet, may also be dead. His son may also be dead. But the big enchilada is Benjamin Netanyahu himself. He hasn't appeared in public for 5 days. He didn't appear at the Israeli Security Council meeting, and I must say his colleagues looked distinctly discomfited by his and the absence of others. His brother, for example, Ido Netanyahu, who, for reasons that I can't quite fathom, is a member of Israel's War Council. The absence of Netanyahu immediately led to speculation that he had been struck by an Iranian missile and killed, which would, of course, be one of the greatest ironies in history. My religion doesn't permit me to say all I would like to say about the possible demise of Netanyahu, a man who's been in power for 25 years and responsible for more misery on this earth over that 25 years than almost any human being alive. Is he alive or is he dead? Well, they did try just about the worst AI image in the world, showing the difference between AI you download for free and AI that you pay for. He literally sprouted a 6th finger in the middle of his peroration. 6 fingers and Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, there's much I could say about that, but the best and kindest thing I could say is that that was obviously a fake. So they tried again today. They released images and audio of Benjamin Netanyahu buying a cup of coffee in a Jerusalem cafe, although that cafe is in fact closed as a result of Iranian strikes. So it would have had to have been specially opened just for him. More importantly, he bought a frothy latte. It was pure frothy. According to Grok, it was 95% likely a fake, an AI or other fake image. According to other experts in the field, it's 97% fake. You could tell by one or two of the characteristics of the fake that it was just that. First of all, it was a distinctly thinner Benjamin Netanyahu than the last time he was pictured in public just 5 days ago. Now, he might be on the Ozempic, but it's working fast if he is. Secondly, he picked up the frothy latte, and it was frothing to the brim, and not a single drop of it spilled. Not a single drop of it appeared on his upper lip. He took a very big drink of it, and then the camera shot the cup again, and if he did take a drink of it, he didn't swallow because the cup was still filled to the brim.
Did y'all hear that? This man, I love him. He went in, okay? He's hilarious to me. He's hilarious to me. Did y'all hear that? Okay, anyway, honey, I find it all interesting at the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, here's the thing. Here's the thing, beloveds. India wanted to be able to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, and the answer has been a resounding no. You know, as is to be expected. How do you think you're going to be on the side of the enemy and these people are going to help you? It makes no sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense to a fool, in fact. Now, with that being said, another thing is, hold on. You know, as I think about it, now haven't they been saying for days that the supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, is likely wounded because they think that his leg was blown off? That's been the reports. They think that his leg has been blown off. So I just wonder, did he really have a phone call with Macron? Okay, did he really have a phone call with Macron? Because we haven't seen him in public, just like we hadn't seen Satan Yahoo. Okay, but we haven't seen him in public. We've just been getting these statements that they put out saying that he's saying stuff. So did he actually talk to Macron? I really don't think that he did. Now, as I think about it, I really don't think that he actually talked to Macron. Okay, with that being said, hold on. And hostages. Right now, you know they say that they have hostages. Did you all know that? Once in the chat, if you all knew that Iran has United States hostages in their possession, okay, like 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but hold on, because I'm going to go to this lady from Young Turks. American journalist Anna Kasparian says to the Israelis, you may see yourselves as chosen, but your actions are satanic. It reminds me of that old saying in the Bible. Those who say they are and are not are from the synagogue of Satan. Is that what she's trying to say subliminally? The entire world, including young Americans from all sides, hates you for killing innocent people. That's what she said. And then in other news, let me just give you all this report before I continue. Cardi B told the Latinas in her audience at her concert to never forget that without Black Americans fighting for civil rights, etc., you would not be living comfortably in America. That's righteous because so many immigrants always forget that fact, from Latinos to Africans. And then last but not least, the assassinations of Satan Yahoo's personal bodyguard, the officer Nada Fashkon, has been confirmed. Well, you know, again, let the joyous news be spread. Okay, and so that all been said. Oh, and let me just say this. I almost forgot to show you all this clip. So some of these folk, went down, and by these folk, I mean BB's people. BB's people went to Italy. Okay, and here was their reception. And also, by the way, they say that Argentina doesn't want them there either, because they said that a bunch of them either showed up in Argentina or are supposed to be showing up. Okay, so here's what they say. Let me just play the audio.
Essere informati. Ci sforceremo sicuramente qualora. Solidarity to the Palestinian people! Questa azione! Queste persone stanno provocando! Queste persone vogliono essere picchiate! Mandateli! Il diritto internazionale, grazie alle complicità delle grandi potenze di tutti i
Y'all see that? Malice said the old man with the middle finger. Okay, honey, they were going in, right? And here's what it says. Israeli cruise passengers were blocked from disembarking in Italy after locals protested their arrival. The Israeli tourists reacted angrily, making throat-cutting gestures towards the locals. Y'all hear that? Not throat-cutting gestures. Why is that always their first response? To threaten murder, okay? To resort to violence. That's always their response, okay? That's always their response. Now, hold on. There's something else I wanted to show you. I almost forgot. Hold on. It is the meeting that they had in Ohio where they were talking about wanting to give citizens 20 years in prison for speaking against Israel, for being anti-Israel. Hold on. This scene is very interesting. A member of the Indian parliament stood up to their prime minister, Narendra Modi, and said, "Hello and greetings to Ayatollah Khamenei, who did not kneel before America and was martyred, but you, worthless one, knelt." Honey, his own people have turned on him for bending the knee, okay, to none other than BB and Trump. I mean, it's just the embarrassment of it all.
हम सलाम करते हैं ईरान के सर्वोच्च नेता अयतुल्लाह खamenei साहब को, जिन्होंने अपने आप की तरह अमेरिका के आगे घुटने नहीं टेके, बल्कि उन्होंने शहादत को गले लगाया। हम सलाम करते हैं।
Okay. This is the clip right here. Okay, I'm going to play that in a second. But Mally C says, is that considered anti-Semitism, or is that only reserved for the U.S.? Oh, no, honey, that's reserved for everybody. Okay, anybody who talks trash about them, even if you're not talking trash, even if you just say something that's truthful, that's that they don't want you to say or don't like or don't want to hear. It's anti-Semitism no matter where you are on this planet, not just the United States, honey. That's everywhere. Okay, now I want y'all to think about that. And you see, a lot of it is likely, in my opinion, because Jeffrey Epstein, who was clearly Mossad, was going around blackmailing folk. Okay? That's how somebody can get so much power. Okay? Even though you're not the biggest group in the population. But thank you for your question, beloved, your insight into the topic, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let's listen to this, because they're proposing 20 years in prison and fines up to $1 million for Americans who boycott Israel. Is that what they really said? It can't be so, right? This has to be made up.
20 years imprisonment for Americans participating in boycotts of Israel. Targeting critics of Israel with harsh criminal penalties, SB 87 takes away Ohioans' ability to speak publicly against some of the most horrendous violations of human rights we have seen since World War II. Thus, Ohioans will run the risk of being criminally charged, for example, publicly calling out an apartheid state, which was deemed so by the International Court of Justice. As Americans, we have always taken pride in having some of the most robust free speech protections codified in our First Amendment. If bills like SB 87 are allowed to pass, one of the few bright spots of American rights will be severely undermined in order to silence criticism of a foreign government. Also, please understand, this will not stop here. one after another, all of our rights to engage in peaceful dissent can and will be taken away. One needs only consider U.S. Representative Mike Lawler's failed House Resolution 867 of May 2025, which was proposing fines up to $1 million and up to 20 years imprisonment for Americans participating in boycotts of Israel. Such egregious assaults on our freedom will only become more commonplace and brazen. We must not forget that civil rights are not forever, but need to be constantly protected from government overreach.
I want you all to marinate on that. This is what he proposed in 2025. And of course, he's one of those people. Okay, he wants people to get 20 years in prison and up to $1 million fine for boycotting them. We should boycott them just for that. We should boycott them just for him even trying it, for even suggesting it, for even having the gall, the audacity. Who are they? That no one can speak against them, but yet they can speak against everyone they choose. The ones who call us jiggers and brag about being racist. Okay, the ones whose chief rabbi called us monkeys a few years ago. Y'all remember that report? I find it all interesting. I won't be buying anything from them, period. Okay, I don't care what it is and how bad I need it. Well, with that all being said, let's continue because here's Trump's post with his stupid self. Okay? Please. You don't tell me who I can boycott. I boycott whoever the hell I want, period. Okay? And here's the thing. If people were, in fact, boycotting them, what are they going to do? Lock up everybody? Because it's not like it would only be a handful of people. It would be thousands. Okay, so they're going to lock everybody up, sit down somewhere. That's the dumbest idea and proposal for a bill ever. Okay? And here's the thing also, even if people did boycott and that was the law, at the end of the day, it still wouldn't fly because all you have to do is not say you're going to boycott and just don't buy anything from them and just boycott silently. No one has to know. Okay, please. How does that even make sense? But anyway, I'm glad to know how they think. Now, with that all being said, let's get into this post from your foolish president. Okay, look how he has the United States flag and the little Israeli flag together. That's why I do the same thing, because this is, in fact, the United States of Israel. Don't let them fool you. That's exactly what this is, the United States of Israel. Please pay attention. Okay, that's why we're at war now. Let it be known. Okay, Trump admits that he pushed the U.S. in war with Iran for Israel. He said, you could make the case that maybe we shouldn't even be there at all. It's almost like we do it for habit, but we also do it for some very good allies that we have in the Middle East. Well, guess what, Trump? Now that's your only ally. You don't have any more allies. I'm sorry. They may smile in your face and shake hands with you, but they really hate you. Okay? They hate the United States. Okay? They hate the United States. And we all clearly can see why. Okay, we all clearly can see why. And mind you, for those of you who missed that video that I did earlier, I'll probably show it. Because the United States has murdered 38 million people since 1970 to 2021, okay, due to their nefarious sanctions. And that's just the fact of the matter. Okay, there was a study done by a scientific journal that I just happen to read often. Okay? Now, listen to this post from Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi. Went to the wrong clip. Hold on. Okay, so here's what it says. Our powerful armed forces will keep fighting until the President of the United States realizes that illegal war he's imposing on both Americans and Iranians is wrong and must never be repeated. Victims must also be compensated. Let me tell you all something. You know, here's the thing. This type of situation right here will likely never happen again. Okay, because now I'm sure that since Trump and his nefarious regime have effed around and found out, and they're going to keep finding out. Okay, they're going to keep effing around and finding out. Because here's the thing, I guarantee you that no other president's going to be that stupid. At least I hope not. To go against these people. These people are willing to die for their causes. You saw them outside as missiles flew overhead. Honey, I would have been hiding somewhere in a ditch. I wouldn't have been out there in the first place, to be honest. But the fact that these people are not afraid of death, how do you beat them? You cannot threaten them with intimidation tactics. Okay, you can talk all big and bad, but that does not bother them. Okay, that does not bother them at all. You saw what Abbas Arakchi said when he was asked about them being boots on the ground. He said the most gangster thing I've ever heard any leader say during a time of war, and that's just a fact. I do believe that what he said will likely go down in the realms of history. Okay, please pay attention. Now, let's continue because I was just wondering, while Trump's doing all of this begging and just trying to get all these allies that he still thinks are his allies, but they're not. But, the fact that he was trying to get all these people to help him, I find it interesting. Because why didn't he ask some of these people from the Board of Peace? Why didn't he ask some of the people from the Board of Peace? Yeah, some of these countries. I guess he thought Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, because those are the Gulf states over there in the Middle East. The United Arab Emirates, they are as well. And so with that all been said, he probably thought they were going to help, but sadly for him, they're not. Okay, Jordan, they're not helping him. All right, they don't want any parts of it. And they also have said, how dare him get them into this war, putting them in danger that they should not even be involved in. Okay, they said they're not going to sacrifice their sons. All right, that's what they said. Now, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let's go to Trump telling his lies. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. No, you know what? Let's go to the interview. Let's go to the interview from Abbas Arakchi. He did another interview with Face the Nation. And so let's go to that. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
We turn now to the Foreign Minister of Iran, Abbas Arakchi. Good evening to you, sir.
Well, good evening to you. Thank you for having me for the second time.
Yes, and they are extraordinary times. Minister, President Trump said this weekend he is not ready to make a deal with Iran because the terms aren't good enough yet. His administration is saying this war could last another 3.5 weeks or so. Has Iran asked for a ceasefire?
No, we never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes, and this is what we have done so far, and we continue to do that until President Trump comes to the point that this is an illegal war with no victory, and there are people being killed only because President Trump wants to have fun. This is what he has said.
Have fun?
We are not. Yes, this is what he said, that they are sinking, ships and targeting different places because it is fun. And the Secretary of War has said that there is no mercy. And this is actually a war crime. Even saying that is a war crime. So this is a war. This is a war of choice by President Trump and the United States, and we are going to continue our self-defense.
Well, that may be your position, but sir, this is a war of survival for your government. Minister, don't you have to negotiate and reach out either directly or through a third party?
No, I want you all to pay attention. Clearly, she's been sipping the Kool-Aid that Trump's been pouring, him and Cake's breath. She said, don't you have to negotiate or reach out or even through a third party? Honey, the one that has to do that is Trump. And that's what he's doing. Okay, that's exactly what he's doing. Hold on, let me just pause for a moment and go to this let me just pause for a moment and go to this clip or this post from Trump. So basically, hold on, where is it? Okay, let's continue. I'll look for it in a second.
No, it's not a war of survival. We are stable and strong enough. We are only defending our people from this act of aggression, and we don't see any reason why we should talk with Americans, because we were talking with them when they decided to attack us, and that was for the second time. There is no good experience talking with Americans. We were talking, so why they decided to attack us? So what is good if we go back to talk once again?
Well, I want to come back to that in just a moment. You're referring to the diplomacy with President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his envoy, Steve Witkoff. But just to continue on this, Iran is sending its drones and its missiles into your neighboring countries, American allies throughout the Gulf. Before the war, your government traded with them, you had relations with them. If your government survives this conflict, how do you go back to doing business with countries you're sending drones into and hitting civilian targets?
Well, obviously, these are the countries who have given their soil to American forces to attack us. So what can we do? We just sit and watch that American forces are attacking us from their soil,
but your drones are going into civilian areas and hitting plants and hotels and civilians.
No, this is not the fact. We are only targeting American assets, American installations, American military bases. Everything belongs to Americans. And this is a fact that they are using their soil. There are many examples. Just yesterday, they attacked our islands using HIMARS artillery rockets, which are low-range rockets. Mm-hmm. And they used the territory of UAE to attack us. A week ago, 3 F-15 jet fighters were shot down, apparently by a friendly fire in Kuwait, but nobody asked what they were doing in Kuwait. They were using Kuwait and airspace of a neighborly, a friendly country to attack us. So it is obvious.
And I want you all to pay attention. Okay, Sosa said this lady is a pawn and beyond foolish. Yes, she is. Okay, she's sitting there trying to paint this whole picture and narrative as if this is Iran's fault. Oh, but you're attacking civilians. No, they're not. Okay, no, they're not. That's what they don't do. That's what the U.S. does. Okay, the U.S. purposely hit that school and killed 180 people. That's what they did on purpose. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. And also, let me just tell you all this, because I almost forgot. There was a report that came in that said on the 2nd of March, now mind you, this whole war started February the 28th. So just a few days in, on the 2nd of March, it has now been reported, I do believe by CBS, they have now said, and I told you all this from day one, you heard it here first, I told you they were lying, significantly lying, not just a little bit, not just a little white lie, but they were definitely lying about the number of casualties and injured. And so now they have come out on CBS and basically said that on the 2nd of March, there were reports of, I believe, thousands, or no, at least hundreds, okay, of injured and wounded soldiers being taken to the hospital in Germany. But didn't I, in fact, tell you all that? Didn't I tell you all that they took them to the hospitals in Germany and that the hospital was so crowded with the wounded that basically they stopped some surgeries that were not so serious? They even stopped labor and delivery. Okay, I want you all to pay attention.
Yes, we cannot just, remain,
Right. Well, so many of these
silent
countries
against
are part of CENTCOM, but this is the point, is that it's going to hurt your country in the long term. But when we talk about the Strait of Hormuz, which is such an important transit point for global trade, you have said it is closed to Israel and it's closed to the United States. The Financial Times is reporting that European diplomats from France and Italy are talking to your government about trying to get safe passage for their ships. Are you open to restarting oil and gas vessels going through there?
Well, we are open to countries who want to talk to us about the safe passage of their vessels.
You are
It depends
negotiating with France and Italy?
Well, I cannot mention any country in particular, but we have been approached by a number of countries who wants to have a safe passage for their vessels, and this is up to our military to decide. And they have already decided to let a group of vessels belongs to different countries to pass in a safe and secure. So we provide them security to pass because we have not closed this strait. They are not coming themselves because of the insecurity which is there because of the aggression by the U.S.
Exactly. And here's the thing. When we do find ourselves in global economic collapse, the world collectively needs to blame no one other than Trump and Bibi's people, because Bibi's not here. But so the blame needs to be laid on. It doesn't need to be laid on Iran because this isn't their fault. They have every right to protect and defend themselves and their homeland. Now, Mally C says, Queen, Tucker Carlson said the CIA has been spying on him and they say he's a foreign agent for Iran and they're coming for him. No, they likely are. I've heard something about that too. And they likely are, but guess what? That's good for him. I don't give a damn about Tucker Carlson's racist arse. Okay, when he was on Fox News, all the lies he told on black folk and tried to twist narratives and paint them, I loved it when the devils turn on one another. I absolutely am here for it. Just like with Candace. Now, she might be doing some good research, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is she turned her back on her own people to become a raccoon. And so now that she's gone against the grain and talked against Bibi's people, and so has Tucker, now these people are on their arses, and rightfully so. Because, I always love it, like I said, when the chickens come home to roost, okay? When the chickens come home to roost, I feel nothing. I don't care what they do to either of them, okay? I mean, I don't want them to kill them or anything, but if they ruin their lives and just harass them continuously, that doesn't bother me at all, because isn't that what they've been doing to black folk? Okay? That's all I'm saying. Now let's continue to this foolish woman asking these dumb questions. Does she really think this man's going to give her, so much intel? And here's the thing. Let me get this out real quick. This is the post that I was looking for. And it wasn't from Trump. It's from the Midas Touch. Okay, so, they're talking about the Strait of Hormuz and about people trying to get through. That's what she was just asking. So Midas Touch posted saying, when a U.S. president is begging China for help, things are very, very bad. What I told y'all? Okay, Bloomberg says Donald Trump said he could delay his planned summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping if Beijing doesn't help unblock the Strait of Hormuz. The Financial Times reported this, citing an interview with the president, with the U.S. president. So here's the thing. Nobody cares, Trump. If you don't show up to China, I doubt very seriously they're going to be bothered. Okay. And here's another thing. I told you all a few weeks ago that when the war first started, I told you all that China knew this was coming. They obviously felt this was coming because they started stockpiling oil, months ago, right after Trump sent them in to kidnap President Maduro. They already started planning once they saw that Trump pulled that move and took over their oil. Okay, they said, "Oh, the hell up! We know where this is going," and they started stockpiling their oil, and they have at least enough to last for 100 days. Okay, so with that all being said, minus the 2 weeks that the war's been going on, so with that all being said, honey, they're not thinking about Trump. Okay, that's what they're not doing.
I want to ask you again about the negotiations. Iran has.
And matter of fact, let me just say this. Matter of fact, I read an article last night, I think it was last night, where they talked about how Trump's begging his allies for help, and they're basically tepidly responding to him. Not tepidly, which means basically unenthusiastically, as if they don't want to help, as if they don't give a shite. Okay, basically. So they're not thinking about Trump.
Declared it has 440 kilos or so of nuclear material. Where is that material now? Who has custody of it?
Well, we have not declared. This is verified and declared by the agency.
That's
this
right.
Is not a secret. This is not a secret, you know. The agency have said in his many reports the exact amount of our enriched, nuclear material.
Yes. So where is it now? Who has custody of it?
So they are under the rubbles. You know, our nuclear facilities were attacked, and everything is under the rubbles. Of course, there is the possibility to retreat them, but under the supervision of the agency. If one day we come to the conclusion to do that, it would be under the supervision of the agency. But for the time being, we have no program, we have no plan to recover them from under the rubbles.
Am I understanding you here? Because I know that you said 48 hours before the U.S. strikes happened, you had personally offered to President Trump's negotiators to take that 440 kilo amount of 60% enriched material and to dilute it. You said Iran was ready to give that material away. This was in the deal that was also presented to Vice President Vance by Oman. Today, is Iran still willing to let go of that enriched uranium?
Well, that was one of the elements of a deal that we were negotiating with our, American interlocutors. That element dealt with the question of Iran's 60% enriched material. And I offered actually that we are ready to dilute those enriched material or downblend them, as they say, into lower percentage. So that was a big offer, a big concession, in order to prove that Iran has never wanted nuclear weapons and would never want them.
Are you willing to give that up now?
Well, there is nothing on the table right now. Everything depends on the future. If anytime in the future we decide to enter into negotiation with the US or other interlocutors, we may decide what to put on the table. For the time being, nothing is on the table.
There are at least 4 Americans being held at Evin prison that we know of, including a journalist, Reza Valizadeh, and Cameron Hekmati, a 61-year-old man. What is the status of those Americans? Are they safe?
Well, if the U.S. and Israel do not attack our prisons, I guess they are safe.
Foreign Minister, we are running out of time, and I can see the internet is going in and out here. I just do want to point out, you're speaking to us via Zoom. The Iranian people don't have open internet access, but you do. Why?
Well, because I'm the voice of Iranians, and I have to defend their right. So this is why I have access to internet to just have our voice being heard by the international community. But internet is closed because of the security reasons, because we are under attack, we are under aggression, and we have to do everything to protect our people. In any country, there are urgent measures taken for the sake of war.
Minister, I'm glad the uplink worked to talk to you right now.
She really was trying it, okay? Really was trying it. Shout out to Face the Nation for that interview, honey. I love to see this man be interviewed. Okay, I absolutely love when they interview him because at the end of the day, you know, he's got the right name. His name is a boss. That's literally his name, and that's what he is. Put some respect on it. US and BB's people, put some respect on that man's name because that's exactly what that man is. He's a boss. Y'all see it? Y'all see him? He said he's the voice. I find it all so interesting. I find it all so interesting, don't you? But let's continue because for Trump, it only gets worse, sadly. It only gets worse. And for BB's people, let's go to the footage. I finally found it. I knew I had uploaded it or not uploaded it, but shared it, where the Israel foreign minister crying on TV, darn near crying, folks, talking about, oh, they're hitting our urban areas. They're taking out Jews and Muslims alike. Sir, sit down somewhere. What did you call it when the Palestinians were being taken out? Where were your tears then for them?
I also wanted to emphasize to the whole world to understand that while we are targeting military objectives, military targets, regime targets, this evil regime in Iran, the Iranian regime is targeting civilians, civilian population, and all the casualties we faced during these 2 weeks of confrontation, as much it is the same thing like during the days of Operation Rising Lion, all without an exception are civilians from the Iranian missiles.
Now, he's a whole ass lie, okay? He's a whole lie. I mean, I said I wasn't going to curse, sorry. But he's lying, okay? Please pay attention. And even if that were the case, and it isn't, but even if it were, who can they talk about? What's going on over there in Gaza? What's been going over there? Like, sir, you can't say a damn thing about anybody. That's what you can't do. At least you can't say it and make sense. Nobody feels sorry for you, sir, is all I'm saying. Nobody cares, okay? At the end of the day, nobody cares. All right? And we've seen it all. We know exactly what you've done. And how can you dare to call anybody evil? I find that interesting that they have the audacity to call Iran evil. Okay? I find that very interesting, don't you? And now sitting here talking about, and here's the thing, they're talking about, well, we're targeting military. No, you're not. They're over there in Lebanon dropping black rain on those people, chemical warfare. Okay? That's what they're doing. They're targeting the civilians. They've done it before. This is why the U.S., as I told you days ago, stopped selling them cluster munitions years ago. Even before they had that 2008 convention where many leaders agreed to not even engage in using cluster munitions. But here's the thing. While we're talking about cluster munitions, let me just bring this point back around. So remember how I told you all last week that the people, BB's people, that is, they were complaining and trying to make the argument of war crimes being committed by Iran, basically saying that they were using cluster munitions. But it's interesting because, like I told you all, BB's people and the U.S. never agreed to not use cluster munitions. They never signed the deal. But also, aside from that, Pete Cagsbreath said basically there's no rules of engagement, that this war will not be fought clearly. Okay? I mean, it will not be fought fairly. Okay? He basically all but let us know that they're going to do whatever they want to do, that they will not go by the rules. And I find that interesting. He said no. How did he put it? He said no prisoners. You know what that means when they say no prisoners? Everybody must die. So if they capture any Iranian soldiers, they're going to kill them. That's basically what he said when he says we're taking no prisoners, right? Allegedly, that's what he means. So with that all being said, I find it interesting, especially since we've now found that the Iranians have 4 American hostages in their possession. Okay? They're in that prison. All right. So with that all being said, remember, the reporter asked him, Abbas Harachi, if those people are safe. And what did he say? He said, as long as the U.S. and Bibi's people don't attack the prisons, then they're safe. And then I guess they're safe. Okay? Then I guess they're safe. So with that all being said, you know, Trump has just dealt America a really bad hand. And sadly, Bibi has done the same for his people. I mean, sadly, if you're one of them, is all I'm saying. Not sad for me, but let's continue.
This is, of course, a war crime. This regime, not for the first time, committing war crimes, and the whole world must see.
The audacity of him to even mention war crimes from his lips when we all know that Bibi Netanyahu was already facing charges of war crimes and even crimes against humanity. These are the same people that allowed the Palestinian prisoner, detainee, to be itemized with an S, gang raped by 5 officers or guards, and even with a knife. I want y'all to think about what kind of low-down, malicious, depraved-minded, heinous devil it takes to even think of doing something like that, let alone carrying it out. Let alone carrying it out. I have no sympathy for anything they go through. I only have sympathy for their victims. Let's continue.
Later on, we'll also drive a little in order to see the damages that they caused to the mosque in this village. And this is something that everyone should see.
Well, you know, everyone would see it if you'd stop trying to hide stuff from the media. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. They've been over there in Lebanon, supposedly, allegedly blowing up hospitals, ambulances, fire trucks, trying to stop people from getting medical attention. And I've also heard before in the past that they actually unhooked babies from incubators. Okay, that's what I've heard. So listen to this. The sniper who shot my friend Jihan's 3-year-old daughter, Noor, shattering her tiny legs while she was in her mother's arms in Gaza, is a hateful, racist ghoul. I understand that's one of the things I've been criticized for saying, and I double up on it, frankly. But the rage, the disgust, even hatred that Jihan or I feel toward the sniper is not racism. It's not anti-Jewishness. It is not anti-Semitism, nor are her feelings toward the tank operator who blew out the back of her son Arhab's head, making his fingers sink into his brains when she went to pick him up. This is all so sad. Our feelings are words in response to 78 years of barbaric colonial violence, and they are not reprehensible, or they are not reprehensible. They are not anti-Semitic. She's saying her words, not their actions, those people's actions, but her words are not reprehensible and they're not anti-Semitic. And they are not anti-Jewish. In fact, despite everything they have done to us, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of Jews, both inside and outside of Israel, support the Zionist carnage and domination, we still have the tender human sense to recognize those Jews, however a minority they may be, who do not support Israel, and to embrace the far smaller minority who are anti-Zionist, in fact. And you know, this is the thing too. That's very important that you said that, because let us keep in mind that it is not all of these people that are doing these things that feel this way and that are so violent and angry. Okay, that's not all of these people. And in fact, the people that are doing these things, to me, they're not even Jews. They're not even Jews. These are Zionists, and there's a difference. Okay, because to me, people that are Zionists pretend to be those other people. It even tells you in the Bible. Okay, it even tells you in the Bible. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, let's go to a report from Keg's Breath. Let me see here. No, as a matter of fact, let's go to this other report. Let's go to this other report from Abbas Harakchi when he was on MS Now. He's doing a lot of interviews, and I'm glad that he's doing them because this is how we can find out what's really going on. Because the lamestream media lies, Trump and his administration are all liars, and they just, will not tell the truth about the actuality of what's being done.
Much for your time this morning, sir. I wanted to start with the news overnight that the U.S. has carried out a military strike on Harg Island. The President of the United States said that for reasons of decency, I have chosen not to wipe out all the oil infrastructure on the island. However, should Iran or anyone else do anything to interfere with the free and safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, I will immediately reconsider this decision. Let me start by asking you about what has happened on Harg Island and what is Iran's response to these strikes.
Another thing I want to point out, beloveds, is I want you all to pay attention to how, Pete Keg's Breath and Trump, how anytime they're in the media and they're asked about the war, they always talk so big and bad, like they're just so tough and rough and like they're just doing so much and winning. And I just want you to pay attention to how Abbas Harakchi, when he speaks, he does so in a very calm demeanor. He's not speaking out of bravado. He's not trying to be braggadocious. He's not trying to sound tough, but he sounds so much stronger than they do. He shows so much more strength than they have. Okay? He really does. And as tough as they talk, at the end of the day, when he said, we're waiting for it, that took the cake. Okay? Let's continue.
Thanks. Well, thank you so much for having me. I think our armed forces have already answered that they would retaliate if our oil and energy infrastructure are attacked. And they will attack any energy infrastructure in the region which belongs to an American company or an American company is a shareholder. So the reaction would be clear. Last night, they have attacked Hark Island and Abu Musa Island with, the artillery rocket system, HIMARS, as they call it, which is a low-range rockets. And they have done it from the soil of our neighbors. And this is crystal clear that now they are using the territory of our neighbors to attack us by these kind of, rockets. And this is absolutely unacceptable.
Which neighbors, sir?
Well, the last night attacks were tracked by our forces, and now it is clear that they are fired from UAE, from two locations in the UAE, from in Ras Al Khaimah, and from a location very close to the city of Dubai. And it is very, dangerous that they use highly populated areas to launch, rockets against us. We would certainly retaliate, but we try to be careful not to attack any populated area.
Foreign Minister Arakchi, thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. I wanted to start.
I find it all interesting. I could listen to this man talk all day. Okay?
As soon as he would have said we was waiting on him, President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You were waiting for the U.S. military to invade, the ground troops?
We was waiting on them. We waiting. I would have went AWOL. As soon as I would have seen it on the news, baby, they would have had to go find me. Military would have had to go find me because I'm not going nowhere. I'm crying because I promise you I'm not going. I'm not going. As soon as that man would have said, we was waiting on them. I know y'all know what I'm talking about on the news. And it was like, we waiting on them. And baby, when I tell you, I would have been off base. And this is the reason why everybody can't join the military. I came for the Hellcat. I would have came for the Hellcat, baby. My intentions was not to do no real work. It wasn't. That's not what I signed up for. It's not. You know what? Shout out to all of the military people, Air Force, everybody in the service. Shout out to y'all who got to deal with this.
Okay.
Pulled out boots on the ground in Iran. So are you like afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country? Nah, we waiting on them. What he say? Nah, hold on. You waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops? Like what? Like you waiting for them to come? That's exactly what I said. We not scared of fuck of y'all. We're confident. We're confident that we can confront them and we can fuck y'all shit up. It would be a big disaster for them, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, if y'all come here with that dumb shit, it's gonna get wild for y'all. So you saying that Iran would be ready and willing to take on the United States if there were to be ground troops? Man, look, we were ready for this war before the last war. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, we've been ready type shit. Like, the shit we got now, like, you know what I'm saying? The missiles and shit, everything is upgraded. We ready for whatever. It's basically what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't matter the scenario. We're waiting on y'all. We're not saying we wanted to come to it, but if it came down to it, we on that.
Okay, so basically they want all the smoke like hookah. Okay. I want y'all to pay attention. I absolutely love it. Now, here's the thing. Someone in the chat, I forgot who it was. Someone was mentioning Roy Cohn. Okay, NT Gangster. Roy Cohn, the man who made Trump great. Let me tell you something. Trump is not great. He's not great. Okay, please don't call him that. He's anything but. No, but what Roy Cohn did is, yes, he has been mentoring Trump. Okay, he started mentoring him, I believe, back in 1973. He's the one that taught Trump the dark arts of power. He's the one that helped Trump with real estate deals his first time in office as well. He has given Trump a whole lot of, of his persona that he has come to. Like, he's basically told him there's no need to tell the truth when you're winning. But clearly Trump got wires crossed and felt like there's no need to tell the truth when you're losing. Okay. So with that all being said, yes, he has been very pivotal, in some of Trump's decision making. Okay. He was basically his primary mentor for like a whole 13 years. Not to mention, he's taught Trump to never apologize, to always counterattack. Okay. To keep saying the same thing even when they know that you're lying. That's where Trump gets it all from. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's continue, because somebody had said that the U.S. was acting like they're playing Call of Duty. Said they were acting like they're playing Call of Duty, and that's exactly what it looks like, because they posted a video. They posted a video to the White House page, right, of a video game. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. And just like Abbas Harakji said, Trump says that they're having fun. So for him, death, destruction, people being wounded, economic collapse, the Strait of Hormuz being closed, all of these things that apply to this war, that's fun for him. I want you all to remember that your president said that when you're starving. I want you to remember that when the lights go out because of a possible power grid attack. I want you to remember that when the financial institutions go down. And by the way, please go and take some of your money out of the bank. Go and take some of your money out of the bank right now, because if you don't, okay, if financial systems become disrupted, you won't be able to get anything out of the bank, beloveds. Okay, so please go and have some cash on hand, okay? Because there's no telling how bad this is going to get and how far it's going to go. But I tell you what, it's going to get even worse before it gets better. Now, I think I'm going to have to mute this at some point because I think they play music, but let's
The White
listen to
House
it.
is actually turning the Iran war into a meme. I can't believe it. We got the White House posting GTA war edits.
Okay, I want you all to see that's the ignorance. That's the ignorance that your president is posting. Okay? That's the ignorance of it. Somebody says, what did Nostradamus predict? He predicted a whole lot, beloved. But if you want to know what he predicted about this situation, I don't know for certain. I haven't researched it, but I'll tell you what, the Bible predicted it. It's called the fall of America. Okay? Yeah, that's what it's called, the fall of America, just like Babylon. All right? It predicted the Antichrist. All right, that we're all listening to and watching on a regular basis. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this clip from Sky News with Trump aboard Air Force One. Okay. Measure Man said Ryan Clark mad they used the play of him on the field. The NFL is a game war is not. And the NFL is a game, war is not. And he is disgusted. He said he's asking them to take it down. Why don't they care? You know, I'm not surprised. Trump is a whole idiot. Like, this is a game to him. Okay, he's an actor. This is theater. We're literally watching the Truman Show in real time. Okay? And then he keeps lying, saying that people around the world are praising him and that they're absolutely on board with this nefarious war. If they're on board, why the hell is nobody wanting to help? Not even his own allies. And if he was winning, why does he need help from allies? He literally said a couple of weeks ago, didn't he say we don't need help? Didn't he say that? He told Zelensky to his face. I showed you all the footage again days ago where he told Zelensky warned him, you may be in war one day. You may need help from us. You may need help. Trump said, you don't know that. You don't know that. We won't need you. Talking tough. And then he had to call Zelensky. The amount of egg on his face. Okay, the amount of egg on his face. Let's continue. Like that, everyone, please like and share.
Because most of
My apologies, beloved. I'm sorry. Let me start this over.
The president arrived back in Washington from Mar-a-Lago late last night, and on the flight, he had some news. First, he demanded that America's allies helped to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Second, he claimed that he is talking to the Iranians. And third, he said that they are getting close to a deal. But his language felt somewhat confused, and the Iranians have denied any chance of a deal.
Are there any diplomatic talks going on between the U.S. and Iran at all right now?
We're talking to them, but I don't think they're ready. But they're getting pretty close. I don't know that I want to make a deal, because you know what? First of all, nobody even knows who you're dealing with, because most of their leadership has been killed, as you know, right? So I don't even know that we want to make a deal. They want to make a deal badly, yes.
His language on NATO was blunt. Essentially, he said, look, we, the Americans, pay the most into NATO, but now other NATO countries are not willing to help us deal with the Strait of Hormuz, which he described as a small endeavor. Have a listen to that.
It'd be interesting to see what country wouldn't help us with a very small endeavor, which is just keeping the strait open. That, by comparison, is a small. It's small because Iran has very little firepower left. Their missiles are down to a low number. You see, they're shooting very few of them. You know why? Because they don't have very many of them. And because we've decimated their manufacturing capability. Likewise, the drones are way down. They're down to about 20% of what they had. Still have some.
Here's the thing, beloveds. If everything that he's saying were true, why would they need help going through the Strait of Hormuz? Also, he said it's a little, he's acting like it's no big deal. It's just a little thing we need their help with. Well, if it's no big deal, why do you need help, period? You should be able to, take over the strait by yourselves. Okay? And if he had any sense, he and Cake's Breath, if they had any real sense, and if they actually had a real strategy, they would have taken over the Strait of Hormuz before the Iranians got a chance to. Okay? That's called a miscalculation in war. Okay? That's a miscalculation. Underestimating your opponent.
He did say he's now in talks with 7 countries to bring together a coalition to deal with the problem on the Strait of Hormuz. He didn't say which countries they are, but we do know that the UK is among them. Starmer spoke to Trump yesterday, and despite more blunt language publicly for the Brits from Trump, I'm told that the call was good. There has also been coordination through the weekend between Defence Ministers Pete Hegseth and John Healey, the top military chiefs as well, and between Yvette Cooper, Foreign Secretary, and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. So it's looking quite clear that the British will be involved in what they hope will be clearly defined missions to deal with the Strait of Hormuz. But of course, I think the risk will be mission creep. That will be the loudest cry from the critics.
I find it all so interesting, don't you? Let's go to this next clip. Honey, Trump is a whole idiot. I mean, he's just lying into this. Saying that video at the rally was AI generated, that's really crazy to me that he even tried that one, okay? But it just goes to show how obtuse he is. He will literally lie about anything.
How Donald Trump once again disrespects women and our troops. Now, a reporter is asking Donald Trump about this grifting email where he used a photo of himself wearing this ridiculous hat at a dignified transfer. He actually said he thinks it's appropriate to have sent the email. Listen to him. Wow, isn't it incredible? He knows how to take every situation and make it all about himself. Now watch how he just goes off on the reporter.
You know what ABC is? I think it's maybe the most corrupt news organization
And then he tells a reporter, shh, you're very obnoxious. And in this instance, he disrespects two reporters at the same time. First, for asking why he's sending in troops now, and for asking if he has a statement for the 6 service members who are unalived. It's just incredible at how low Donald Trump always seems to be able to go. Whether it's making fun of our men and women in uniform, mocking them, or just totally disrespecting women. How could anyone honestly look at this immoral, unethical behavior and continue to say he deserves to be the president of the United States? I've never thought a person needed to be impeached the way that I believe Donald Trump needs to be impeached, but he needs to be impeached. This man is pure chaos. Death and destruction follows him wherever he goes. And he's the one that is giving us right now these sky high gas prices. How could anyone sit here and say this is America first?
Hold on, beloveds.
Iran, Israel, and the United States continue to intensify as diplomatic rhetoric grows sharper alongside the ongoing war. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, says Tehran has not asked for a ceasefire and has no intention of backing down from the conflict. Speaking in an interview with Face the Nation on CBS News, Araghchi rejected claims by U.S. President Donald Trump that Iran was seeking negotiations. Araghchi said Tehran has never requested a ceasefire or talks with Washington and insists the country is prepared to defend itself for as long as necessary. The Iranian foreign minister said the conflict was triggered by what he described as aggression by the United States and Israel. According to Araghchi, Iran remains stable and strong, and the country's military operations are focused solely on defending its population. Araghchi also addressed concerns about foreign nationals detained in Iran, including Americans held at the notorious Evin prison. He suggested that the safety of detainees would depend on whether U.S. or Israeli forces target Iranian prison facilities during the conflict. Responding to questions about the reported detention of at least 4 American citizens, Araghchi said they should remain safe as long as Iranian prisons are not attacked. Meanwhile, tensions are also rising over one of the world's most critical oil routes, the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has warned it could restrict maritime traffic through the strategic waterway, which handles a large portion of the world's oil and gas shipments. App-Queen said several countries have already contacted Tehran seeking guarantees for the safe passage of their vessels. While the Iranian foreign minister declined to name those countries, reports suggest that European nations, including France and Italy, have explored ways to secure shipping routes through diplomatic channels. He said Iran's military has already allowed some ships from different countries to pass through the strait safely. However, he added that some nations have chosen not to send vessels because of security concerns in the region. App-Queen also blamed the United States for escalating instability in the area. He claimed that the presence of American military operations and continued attacks on Iranian targets had created conditions that discouraged shipping traffic. Iran's Islamic
Okay, so with that all being said, Robert said it looks like a video game. Okay. Now listen, someone mentioned William Cooper. Oh, it was NT Gangsta 1. Behold the pale horse tells all. Yes, absolutely. Now there's a section in that book, which I read years ago, at least 2 decades ago, and I still have that book. But there's a portion in there that speaks about the protocols of the elders of Zion. Now let's talk about that, because historically, they say researchers have widely agreed that it's not authentic. But let's talk about it anyway. Okay, they say it was created in Tsarist Russia around 1903, likely by members of the Russian secret police. Now, they say much of the text was plagiarized from an 1864 political satire called Dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu, okay, by Maurice Joly. It was used historically to spread anti-Semitic propaganda, especially in Europe and later by the Nazi regime. So let's talk about it. Now, when William Cooper wrote about this, the protocols revealed is, according to him, a blueprint of global elite control. Say what now? Propaganda, lies. It talked about global elite control. Haven't I been telling y'all that certain folk want global dominion? Okay, please make it all make sense. The protocols are a fabricated propaganda document, not evidence of an actual conspiracy. Well, let's talk about some of the conspiracy or the conspiratorial things that were said. We're going to go to William Cooper's summary and interpretation. So Cooper argued that the protocols of the elders of Zion described a secret plan by a small elite group to control the world. Let me know when y'all hear something you don't believe. Let me know when y'all hear something that sounds like a lie. Let me continue. Such as, let's talk about the points. There's 5 different points that he mentions and talks about these documents that have outlined the strategies in his view. The first one is controlling governments, infiltrating political systems to influence laws and policy. Just let me know when y'all hear lies. The second thing is manipulating economies. You see, using banking systems, debt, and financial crisis to gain power. You see, let me tell y'all something. I'm glad I brought this up I'm glad NT Gangsta brought this up, because this is something I should have been told you all. Here's the thing. Remember how I've been telling you all for the past year, since Trump's been in office, that Trump was put in office to dismantle the United States from the inside out. That's exactly why he's in office. I don't even think that he actually even won the election. I don't think so. I think he was put there as the figurehead to carry out this nefarious plan that he's now carrying out. The destruction of the U.S. Because you see, around the world, the United States is considered the superpower. They're considered the top dog. And what Trump is doing is trying to give somebody else that spot. He's not America first. Let's make that clear. He's not America first. We already see who he's first for. Okay? And I have some research that I'm going to bring out for you all tomorrow, maybe even later on today, about how deep this all goes with Trump. But with that all being said, this is why I've been telling you all that. You see, everything that Trump is doing is very nefarious. Okay? Very nefarious. You see, disrupting banking systems, causing debt, financial crises. This does help people, certain people, to gain power. You see, and Trump's tax plans and all of that, and the big ugly bill, that's all to benefit himself and billionaires like him, and to be harder for the poor people, okay, for the average everyday 9-to-5 people. So now that we already know this part of it, what happens when global economic collapse ensues, which it will if this continues? So that's going to give them extreme power over the rest of us. We won't really have resources. They'll start making laws to where we can't protest or say things against them, as they've already been trying to do, and in some cases have done. And then you see how ICE is behaving, going and kicking in doors without, criminal warrants or judicial warrants signed by a judge, just doing whatever they want, murdering people in the streets, complete and utter chaos. This is all to instill fear. These are intimidation tactics to make everyone submissive, to get everyone to bow down for what's coming. You see, right now, they're just testing the temperatures. And see, when I kept telling you all, and when I got so mad, I went off that day and was cursing, this is why. I kept telling you all, you don't even know what's coming. You don't even know the magnitude of what's coming. All the people who think, oh, the Epstein files have nothing to do with us, nothing to see here, who think ICE doesn't have anything to do with the Black folk, nothing to see here. There's a whole lot to see here, and you're going to see it, okay, pretty soon. Pretty soon. These people have been buying up quietly and silently, but I've been telling you all this for years. You heard it here first. I've been telling you all how BlackRock, okay, and their partners have been purchasing up all the real estate, buying up all the houses and properties. They do not want people like you and me to own property. They want to own all of the property. They don't want small owned businesses, okay? They want people to have to buy everything from these big conglomerates that have ties with the government. Big tech, social media, they're all in cahoots with the government. That's why Google has no problem giving your and my information to Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, for ICE to come and harass you if you say anything that's anti-ICE, as if we have to agree with their tactics, as if we have to bow down and kiss their boots. We do not. Unless you're a coward. Unless you're a coward. Because now it's not the time to be afraid. Okay? Now's the time to be concerned. Now's the time to be getting your house in order. Now's the time to be preparing yourself and getting your lifelines. And that's what I have been preparing you for since Thanksgiving Day of 2020. I saw this coming from a mile away, and I already told you this. I already told you a year or two ago that Trump, well, actually about a year ago, that Trump has declared himself the king of the youths. And they seem to have deemed him as such. Now, let me continue with the nefariousness. So they use manipulating economics, using banking systems, debt, and financial crises to gain power. This is what was alleged by William Cooper, but this has been debunked. They said it's all propaganda and satire. It's not even true. Controlling media and information. Who owns CBS, CNN, Oracle, part of TikTok? Shaping public opinion through newspapers, education, and propaganda. William Cooper, was he lying? creating social division, encouraging conflict between political groups. Oh, wow, that's really great right there, because I want you all to pay attention how the left and the right are feuding. Dividing classes or nations to weaken societies. Remember how Lindsey Graham suggested that the Gulf states all join in the war against Iran on the side of Bibi's people and the U.S.? Imagine how that would fare for them if they tried it. Those people all have to live around one another. They're literally neighbors. And then the fifth thing and the final strategy, gradually centralizing global power, eventually leading to a single world authority. I've told you all about that. It's called the NWO. Not the old, but the world. And what do judges dictate and give? Orders. Put it all together. Okay, because that's exactly what he was talking about. Though he often broadened the idea beyond a single ethnic or religious group and connected it to what he called the NWO. Okay, but again, let me just reiterate that the historical reality of the protocols of the elders of Zion is absolutely not authentic. It was simply created by Tsarist Russia in 1903. It has been deemed as being plagiarized from an 1864 political satire called Dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu by Maurice Joly. That's what it says. So anyway, with that all being said, let's talk about Michael B. Jordan. Shout out to him for winning the Oscar, Best Supporting Oscar. And you know, there's been about 6 Black folk who've won that Oscar. Okay, 6 Black men, shall I say. 6 Black men. That would include Forrest Whitaker for his role in The Last King of Scotland, where he played Idi Amin. That would include Denzel for his role in Fences. Will Smith. What did Will Smith win for? What did Will Smith win for? Was it Pursuit of Happiness? I can't remember. But nonetheless, he won. And Chadwick Boseman. I forget the name of that movie, but he also won. So with that all being said, let's go to this video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
What was going to happen if Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor at the Oscar Awards, right? Congratulations are in order for Michael B. Jordan, the 6th Black man in history to win Best Actor at the Oscar Awards, gang. Y'all already know my spiel. I do not resonate with people who try to talk down on Michael B. Jordan's acting ability. Let me break down why. When we were young, we knew Michael B. Jordan on The Wire, right? We remember him from Hardball, even a cameo in Sopranos, right? We watched him grow up, right or wrong. We watched him in Chronicle. Then we watched him collaborate with Ryan Coogler and do Fruitvale Station. And then Creed, not Creed 1, not only Creed 2, but the trilogy, gang. And people resonated with that character. You know how many Black men get motivated by the film Creed? On a regular. That's a go-to for niggas. You feel me? Then we watched him become Eric Killmonger and Black Panther, and everybody resonated with that character. Everybody was into it. Our whole community, gang. And we watched him do side missions, right? We watched him bring Fahrenheit 451 to life. You feel me? And then what really ruffled my feathers was what we all watched in Sinners and how we all reacted as a community, and how much we loved that movie, how much we showed up for that movie, and how much we said, this is Michael B. Jordan's magnum opus. This might be the best acting that he ever did, portraying twins that even though he was the same person playing both, you felt the difference between the characters. He did it so well. So when I saw people, when the nominations started coming out, shitting on him, I'm like, yo, bro, why do y'all, it's always us. Like, why do we, and the white people were doing it too, but I ain't really care about their opinions of sinners, to be honest with you. But when I was seeing our own people jump out the window to try to shit on Michael B. Jordan, you know how upset that made me? You know how, he's a mid actor. He plays the same character in every movie. I gave in an original video I made months ago about this, I said, I gave him 10 different movies, 10 different roles. And I said, list to me how any of these are the same character. And
First of all, Michael B. Jordan does not play the same characters. I don't know why anybody would say something so foolish. And then to discredit his acting ability, he is very good at what he does. But, you know, some black people just hate themselves and they hate other black people. And, you know, some of them are just haters. Okay, they're just haters who hate, like the ones that talk trash about Clarissa Shields. Okay, please pay attention. And also, thank you, beloved, for correcting me. That was absolutely what Denzel won for Training Day, a nefarious movie where he played a nefarious character, just like Halle Berry winning when she played in Monsters Ball, but not losing Isaiah. Denzel won for Training Day, but not Fences, and not for Malcolm X, where he definitely should have won. That was the best depiction of Malcolm X anyone could ever have done, in my opinion. But let's continue.
he couldn't do it. Well, guess what? That's a best actor Oscar-winning man. One of only 6 black men to do so. Yeah, I'm on that, gang. I'm not jacking none of y'all that rush the shit on our own. And half of y'all opinions don't even be your own. Y'all just hop on the bandwagon when y'all see everybody else on it. Fuck out of here, man. Congratulations.
And that's exactly what black people do, sadly. Ignorant black people. That's exactly what they do. They see some people talking about one person, and then they start doing the same thing, and it's usually for clicks and views. Idiotic black people who never have anything good to say about their own people are just so stupid to me, and quite frankly, so damn annoying. Okay? At the end of the day.
B. Jordan finally did it, and thank God he won, because if Timmy Chevrolet would have won, all hell would have broke loose. If he would have won this award, I would have known it was rigged. Michael B. Jordan won for Best Actor, and he deserved it. Even during his speech, you could tell that he put his all into that role. He couldn't even get his.
Also, let me just correct myself. Chadwick Boseman didn't win the Oscar. The movie was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom from 2020. Okay, he was nominated, becoming the first black performer to be nominated after his death in the category of Best Actor. Okay, he was expected to win, but he was cheated. He should have won. Everybody was expecting it, but they gave it to Anthony Hopkins for The Father, if you all remember. And you know, Anthony Hopkins is a good actor, but I didn't think he should have won in that category at that time.
Words out. I even started jumping up and down when they called his name, because I didn't think he was gonna get it. I thought this whole thing was about to be off. I thought that I was about to have an attitude when they announced somebody else getting this. He was so excited, and I was happy for him. And that's to say a lot, because Leonardo DiCaprio acted his ass off in one battle after another. But you know Sinners was good because everybody went to go see that movie multiple times. I know I saw it a few times, and nobody even goes to the movies anymore. He's been super humble, and I'm somebody who wasn't a Michael B. Jordan fan for the longest. I never thought of him as an actor who has range. Michael B. Jordan took me into a character of a twin and the other twin, Smoke and Stack. I was rooting for him to win. Michael.
Okay, with that all being said, let's go to his speech. Now I'm going to use an overlay. So I don't have any copyright issues on this.
Michael B. Jordan.
This is the first Oscar win and nomination for Michael B. Jordan.
Man, God is good. God is good. And yeah, mama, what's up? Y'all know how I feel about my mother and my father's here. Your pops, where you at? My dad came in from Ghana. He flew in from Ghana to be here. My brother, my sister's here. My family. I want to thank Warner Brothers. I want to thank Mike and Pam for believing in this dream, this vision of Ryan Coogler, and betting on a culture and betting on original ideas and original artistry. And you're an amazing, amazing person. I'm so honored to call you a collaborator and a friend. And you gave me the opportunity and space for me to be seen. And I love you too, bro. Love you to death. I would like to thank my incredible cast. Wumi, thank you so much for giving Smoke opportunity to be him. Haley at home, she's getting ready to have a baby right now. Thank you so much for being the other half of Stack. Miles, Delroy, Jamie, everybody, Lily, Omar, the entire cast. I thank you guys for supporting me through this. My team, Phil Sun, Greg Slewitt, Lindsey Gallon. Man, y'all. I stand here because of the people that came before me. Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx, Forrest Whitaker, Will Smith, and to be amongst those giants, amongst those greats, amongst my ancestors, amongst my guys. Thank you, everybody in this room and everybody at home for supporting me over my career. I feel it. I know you guys want me to do well, and I want to do that because you guys bet on me. So thank you for keep betting on me. And I'm gonna keep stepping up, and I'm gonna keep being the best version of myself I could be. So I just want to say thank you for everybody in this room that had something to do with my success. I love you guys, and everybody at home who supported Sinners, who went to go see the movie once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. Thank you, because you guys made this movie what it is. I love you.
Now, by a show of ones in the chat, how many of you saw the movie Sinners more than once? Ones in the chat if you saw Sinners more than once. And also, let me just say that the 6 actors, the 6 black men who won best actor categories, who got Oscars, was Sidney Poitier, Denzel, Jamie Foxx, everybody he said basically. But Sidney Poitier won for Lilies of the Field. Okay, and Will Smith, I couldn't remember what he won for, but it was King Richard when he played Venus and Serena's father. Mr. Bobcat said, never seen Sinners. Mr. Bob the Cat, where have you been, beloved? Okay, you need to go see that movie. Or you can see it on streaming now. FBA Justice says all the black people involved in Sinners need to watch their backs because what? Because white is coming for them. Okay. Sheila said, only saw it once. Some scenes were scary to me. Black Butterflies said, I'm confused. Vampire? Honey, you got to see the movie. You just got to see the movie. It's good. It's really good. Okay? Okay, Ichigo says, vampire movies are tough. Yeah, I like vampire movies. I absolutely do. Well, so anyway, with that all being said, folks, I'm about to be out of here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Maybe I'll be back later. Okay, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay, until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got